Hello and welcome. This is the final video in the C6 series for chemistry out there, and this is on detergents. My name is Mr. Clee. So the aim after watching this video is that you should be able to describe what all the ingredients in washing up liquid and washing up powder are for. You should be able to explain the advantage of washing clothes at low temperature, saying how detergents work, and also going on to look at dry cleaning, describing what different symbols on labels mean and how dry cleaning works. Right, on a basic level, a detergent is a synthetic soap. They operate in a very similar way. They basically substances that can surround fat or oil molecules and remove them from clothes. The advantage of detergents is that they will lather in both hard and soft water, which means that they are definitely better in terms of using in machines and using in different areas, whereas soaps are probably used more often for hand washing and cause less damage to sensitive fabrics. So here we have a detergent, and we've got similar structure that we see fairly frequently. We've got our hydrophilic head, the water-loving part of the molecule, and we've got the sodium ions that dissolve in the water, and we've got our hydrophobic or our lipophilic tail, which is the long chain hydrocarbon. Two different types of washing powder that you need to be aware of are biological and non-biological. The difference is simply that the biological washing powders contain enzymes. Using your knowledge of enzymes, you should know already that enzymes work best at around 40 degrees, which is about body temperature. Being able to use and wash at 40 degrees means that less energy is used, which saves energy. It also protects fabrics from high temperatures that could damage them when you're using a non-biological washing powder. Big disadvantage of biological washing powders is a lot of people have very sensitive skin and can have allergic reactions to biological washing powder. Enzymes that are used include things like lipases, which are there to break down lipids, fats and oils, and we have proteases, which are there to break down proteins. So as well as the enzymes and the detergents, you have other things in your washing powder, things like bleaches, which remove stains by destroying the dye. We've got optical brighteners, which give those clothes that whiter than white appearance, water softeners to make the water softer so we don't get a residue, a hard water residue of limescale on clothes, and obviously enzymes I already mentioned, which remove stains in low temperature washes. Similar but not quite the same are washing up liquids that we use to clean plates and in dishwashers and things like that. They have also got detergents in them, but they've also got things like water to thin the liquid down. They've got colouring agents and fragrances to make it smell nice and make it look attractive. You've got rinse aid, which helps the water drain from the crockery as well. So moving on to washing instructions and dry cleaning. A lot of these symbols mean various different things. They tell you how to wash your clothes. You need to be able to interpret these. Could possibly be asked about them in the examination. The first one, which is basically the washing instructor. How can you wash it? First thing, this tells you that you can machine wash it and at what temperature. If there are some hands in the bowl, then hands in the bowl here would indicate hand wash only. If it had a cross going through it, then what that would show is it would show that it's dry clean only. This is the tumble drying symbol. That's a normal tumble drying symbol. You would also, again, if you couldn't tumble dry something, you would get a cross. But as well as that, you would also get indication of the temperature that you can tumble dry things. 1 dot indicates cool wash, and 2 dots or 3 dots indicates a hot temperature. Right, the next symbol, which is just a circle, indicates whether or not you can dry clean it, and it also usually indicates what chemical. So just have a letter in there that will show for the dry cleaners what type of solvent that they should use to clean it. If you've got a cross over that, same as you don't dry clean that material. Similar rules to the tumble drying one with this one. This tells you whether or not you can iron it, and the number of dots indicates how hot. cold, medium and hot. You might not have noticed, but on your iron there are dots on the temperature sensor and the temperature gauge that tell you how hot that is as well. Again, a cross indicating, or some sign of cross indicating that you do not iron it. So we need to move on to look at how dry cleaning works. It's based on a very similar principle to we looked at back in C1, which is how nail varnish is removed. Nail varnish, nail polish, is insoluble in water. However, it is soluble in things like ethyl ethanoate and propanone. This means that it will dissolve in those liquids. And what we're using in dry cleaning is we're not using water as our solvent, but we're using a different solvent to dissolve the fat molecules, the grease stains and things like that that get onto clothes without affecting the fabrics that might be damaged by using water on them. One of the most confusing things about dry cleaning is that dry cleaning is not dry. It does use a solvent, but it does not use water. So here we have an example of a solvent that's used in dry cleaning. This is tetrachloroethene, and it's really good at dissolving things like greasy stains and other things that don't normally dissolve in water without affecting the fabrics. The way that it works is that the clothes are cleaned in a machine that's just like a washing machine, but you have to make sure that the solvent fumes don't escape. Some of these solvent fumes can be flammable, so you have to be really careful with them. You wash them in the solvent, and then after it's finished, you rinse them with fresh solvent. Afterwards, you distill the cleaning solution so that we can reuse that solvent again. Because these solvents tend to be quite volatile, they evaporate easily from clothes without leaving a residue behind. So we need to talk about the idea of intermolecular forces here. We're talking about weak and strong intermolecular forces. Weak intermolecular forces between the molecules of grease within a stain, weak intermolecular forces between the solvent molecules, but when the solvent and the grease molecules come into contact, we get strong intermolecular forces between the grease and the solvent, meaning that the solvent removes the grease stain very easily. So, in summary, detergents, bleaches, enzymes are the main ingredients in washing powder. Enzymes are used to break down stains at low temperature, saving energy. Detergents are similar to soaps, but synthetic. They work in hard water. The symbols on clothing labels indicate temperature, whether you can dry clean it, tumble dry it, iron and that sort of thing. And dry cleaning uses alternative solvents to water to remove stains without damaging garments. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is the final one in the series. I hope you found them useful, and best of luck with your examinations.